folks, happy August. I'm standing in front of my beautiful GreenStalks and I've been making some updates to them, some DIY updates, and I wanted to share those with you and also give you a little tour of how my GreenStalks are doing in midsummer. And yes, I have the official gardener's overalls. They came in the mail just the other day. I am so excited. I am feeling so official. So first off, GreenStalk actually sells a fabulous trellising system, and they recently came out with a new watering system that looks really, really good. But I've been getting the side eye recently from some people in my household because of my GreenStalk obsession. So I figured, why not try to do some DIY, especially if he's willing to help me. Did I just give him away? All right, let's first take a look at the watering system. It was actually not that difficult to set up. It's not as pretty as what GreenStalk sells, but consider it a prototype. Okay, so here is the watering system. Let me take you down to the source. So it is fed from a hose that is connected to my water outlet, and all it is I've got a connector here that connects it to this distribution pipe. It's a 1/2-inch distribution pipe. I've got these little fittings here, T-fitting, and it takes it up to the top of the GreenStalk, which is where the watering happens. Let me take you up close here. I've got this shut-on, shut-off valve, and really it's as simple as an L fitting over here, and that's it. Now, the nice thing about having the shut-on, shut-off valve is that you can actually control the water flow. So as an example, I've stacked these differently. So this one is much taller than this one. This tends to need less water. And so in order to control the flow of the water, this one is more closed than this one is. So I'm still working out the timing to make sure I get it right. As you can see, I'm not quite there yet. There's a lot of leakage happening, but again, work in progress, and it seems to be working really, really well. My plants are really happy. Lots of strawberries coming in, and I've noticed a big difference in the growth of the plants after I put the watering system in. So really, that's all there is to it. I've got it flowing to each of these, and like I said, prototype. So not looking very pretty. I'm going to have to do something to make it look a little bit more compact and tighten it up a little bit. What I do is I have it connected to the saucer with a staple. That's all I'm doing right now is I've got a staple on the top, and that's what holds it in place. Now, one question that people have is, if you want to turn your GreenStalk, how do you do that? So you want to turn it around every once in a while to make sure that the plants are getting light evenly. So all I do really in that case is I unhook it from here. As you can see, I had turned it a bit, so it's gotten a little bit more on the left. I bring it back to this place and I connect it up between these two. Just like that. It's really easy to pull it out and put it back in the place that you want it to be. Okay, I went ahead and turned this on just so that you can see the water, how it's flowing. It fills up really, really fast. Less than a couple of minutes is all that it needs to run. And I run this twice a day. I run in the morning as well as in the afternoon sometime because I find that the water absorbs better if you do it in stages rather than one full blast. I've got all of my irrigation automated, and it is activated by your smart assistant. So all I need to do is, hey Google, turn off GreenStalk. And you see this little blinking light over here? It's going to stop. By the way, if you'd like to know how I got this automated irrigation system that is smart assistant activated set up, then let me know in the comments and maybe I'll make a video in the future. Okay, that was pretty straightforward, wasn't it? All you need is some DIY skills, and in my case, I've got a husband who's willing to help me with it. Now let's talk about the trellising. This over here is a pole bean, and all I've done is I've run it up a bamboo pole, and at the top of the bamboo pole, I've connected an old piece of irrigation tubing, and I've used zip ties to tie it to the pole, and it goes around on the other side, and I've got a corresponding bamboo pole over here, and I've made a nice little arch. I'm sure it's going to look really pretty once the beans climb on it. On the other side, I've got a little mini pumpkin that's climbing. So let's see who wins the race. Looks like the beans are winning right now. And I'm going to have to improvise on this as it goes. It looks like this bean is getting out of control here. It's got a lot of new shoots emerging that have nowhere to climb. So I'm probably going to need to put a corresponding one that's 90 degrees to this archway. So there'll be two, one going on top of the other. But I think it should be able to do the job. Now I've got some plants that don't climb as vigorously as the bean. This over here is a cardinal climber. It's a hummingbird magnet. You can see the little flowers starting to open. Very, very fast grower. And for that, I've just stuck in a bamboo pole, and hopefully it won't need much more than that. First time I'm growing it, so you tell me if you've grown that before. Speaking of hummingbirds, don't you love that? I got it from the dollar store. Here's another little trellising tip. If you've got a plant like this is a pepper plant, and it has grown quite tall, and eventually as it starts to put out fruit, it's going to start bending this way. You want to keep it propped up this way. You can use something like this garden staple. All you need to do is put it in the tier above the one that the plant is growing from, and then you use a little string to tie it through, just like this. Now, you don't need to use a garden staple. You can use something like this little rebar, works just as well. So you stick it in here, but the normal tendency would be to prop it over here right by the plant. What I'm suggesting that you do is put it a level above. That'll give it some more height as well, and you don't need to put such long stakes. All you need to do is tie it up right here. Okay, so those are the innovations I've been doing. Let's turn around and take a look and see what's growing in the GreenStalks. But before that, folks, if you're getting value from this video, please do give it a thumbs up and throw some comments below. Both those things really help the channel grow. Thank you. Now let's take a look around and see how the GreenStalks are doing. Now I will admit, I've not been very organized about planting in my GreenStalk this year. I've got 5 GreenStalks. It's actually 4 that have been made into 5 because I don't like them too tall. I find that they're much more stable if they're a little bit shorter. And I'm actually quite pleased with my chaotic planting of the GreenStalk this year. There are still some empty pockets, but I'm going to continue this chaotic mode and just see what I get. All right, GreenStalk number 1. This one had a lot of parsley that was growing in the topmost tier, and it was just getting out of control. It was not looking very good. So I just came and I hacked it all down. And as you can see, lots of beautiful new green growth coming. Now I've got some catnip growing here. Catnip is very, very invasive in the GreenStalk. I actually pulled it all out and planted it somewhere else, but looks like I left a piece. And now I've got another beautiful catnip coming here. I'm going to have to keep it under control because last year it was very heavy, it was very big, and it pretty much took over. I've got some mini pumpkins that I've started here that are growing up these bamboo poles. So excited about those. And I've got some pepper plants growing. I've got a fish pepper, I think is what that is. Not sure what this is. I'm going to have to look at my label. I've got some eggplants that are producing lots and lots of blossoms. I've got some oregano, I think, or maybe thyme. I'm not really sure. This is basil. So yes, just sort of random things here and there. A lot of these things are just volunteers. And I absolutely love this broccoli plant, which I chopped down. This was something that I planted last year. And I chopped this down and it grew from the bottom and it's producing these gorgeous leaves. Now, it's not going to produce a broccoli head for me, but I enjoy the leaves in smoothies as well as other dishes. So I'm really happy that this is growing back in spite of the fact that it is the middle of summer. Okay, GreenStalk number 2, lots of marigolds. I've got a volunteer of some sorts growing here. This is some kind of legume. I'm not sure what it is. I'm just going to let it grow and see what happens. I've got strawberries here and there and everywhere. A serrano pepper. I've got an old orange hat tomato that was attacked by spider mites. Now I have noticed that spider mites are doing their thing with a lot of plants in the GreenStalk and I didn't get it on time. So thing about spider mites is as soon as you see them starting, you've got to take care of the problem. Plants like eggplants, for example, are extremely prone to spider mite damage. So I've started spraying them, but as you can see, lots of plants have already succumbed to spider mites. I'm really sad about this spun orange marigold that seems to have a lot of spider mite damage. I was really looking forward to the blooms. I might get a couple. I will save seeds. More mini pumpkins. And then the third GreenStalk. Lots of thyme growing out of control. I've got some leggy petunias, some more mini pumpkins, lots of strawberries coming in. So suddenly, as the weather started to cool off, my strawberry plants started loading up. So I'm happy about that. A beautiful coleus plant. Some longevity spinach. Now, if you haven't grown longevity spinach, try to get your hands on a cutting. This is extremely nutritious and it just grows like crazy. So during the summer months when things like spinach don't grow that well for me, this longevity spinach comes through and the leaves are really, really delicious. I've got some basil, Thai basil growing here and there. I love Thai basil, especially in my Thai curries. GreenStalk number 4 is the one with the big arching trellis on the top. It's got some broccoli as well, and I've got a carrot growing here, random carrot, volunteer, and some chamomile that has passed its prime. Some more pepper plants back there, and my nasturtiums. They're coming back from the bottom. So I pulled out all the nasturtiums, but it looks like they left some roots in there that are now growing into new plants. So that is really exciting as well. And my last green stalk, lots and lots of strawberries, folks. I've been eating strawberries every day and they just keep coming. So this is really great. This is one of the main reasons I got GreenStalks, is to grow strawberries, and they are definitely not disappointing. Now I do have a little potato plant growing here. So this entire tier has several potatoes that have now started sprouting. So that's cool. I've never grown potatoes in the GreenStalk before. I want to see how it does. And I've also got some volunteer. I think these are orange hat tomatoes. So I'm happy that they're coming up by themselves. I've planted a Queen of the Night indeterminate tomato here just as an experiment. Let's see how it does. And I've got a couple of roselle plants that I transplanted just yesterday. Now, as these strawberries keep growing and producing runners, I just tuck the runners in with a little hairpin and I hold it in place, and then once they start growing roots, I snip them off. So that's how I'm propagating more strawberry plants across my GreenStalk. So if you've done anything interesting with your GreenStalk, whether that be trellising, whether that be watering, anything else, do share tips and tricks in the comments below. I'm loving my GreenStalks so much and I want to do so much more with them. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you're planting. Let me know what you're growing in them. Until next time, live green and love your greens.